In 1979, you had Ridley Scott cook up one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time. And honestly, at this point, definitely one of the best horror movies ever. Alien is so fucking great. And I'm gonna tell you guys all about it. Right off the bat, the way I found out about this movie, I'd always heard about it. It's definitely a popular movie in pop culture at this point. At this point, everybody kind of knows Alien, right? One of the first things I knew about this movie, I saw the trailer for it on YouTube, like the original trailer. By far, one of the most effective fucking trailers I've ever seen. It literally shows nothing, and it makes you just want to see the shit. The trailer in this movie is so fucking great because you definitely just feel like, like what the fuck am I watching? Like they're not even showing the alien. It's just like that, that fucking like line, that no one can hear you scream in space. Super fucking iconic, and I feel like Ridley Scott, guys. I mean, this guy is fucking brilliant. And right off the bat, when you see this movie open up, you see all the space crew and they're flying through this space and shit, and you end up landing on this planet. There's something about just like being in space, just like even though these people are in a group, right? Like they're just like trapped, and you definitely just feel like the eeriness right off the bat. I feel like there's always something about just like landing on a random ass like weird planet in space. It's just super fucking creepy. Whenever they start exploring this planet, they start getting down and shit. They start seeing this weird what's the fucking word I'm looking for? This weird fucking like architecture, and they start seeing like these weird fucking like designs on the fucking wall and shit. Like the xenomorph, is already just super like fucking creepy. I know he's definitely like has like a deeper meaning behind like the way that his body is and all that. Just like there's just a lot of like theories about him, and I honestly I'm somebody that's only watched the first Alien, so I'm not really sure like the xenomorph's lore and stuff. But I just know that like just the way that it attacks you, it's just like super like invasive. Definitely like that scene where like one of the space dudes like looking just kind of like they're definitely like in this sort of like big ass room, right? They just have like the fucking like alien shit like jump on his fucking face, dude. Like it's super creepy. And it's definitely just like you feel like that sense of like dread, you start to see slowly that like this place is like disturbing. And obviously, right off the bat, I mean, the chest burster scene is super fucking iconic, The practical effects, guys, is fucking brilliant. I mean, this is the reason why they say they don't make movies like this anymore, because they really don't, Like, this is something that, like, super revolutionary at the time, and it still holds up to this day, because it just looks real, Like, that is a beauty of practical effects, The fact that you can just, like, see something and it looks fucking real, it is super great. Let me guess, for example, the Michael Jackson movie for Thriller, Michael Jackson music video for Thriller, the prosthetics for the wolf that he has, I mean, that is like real, like fucking like practical effects. I mean, it looks fucking real. Even watching that shit now, it looks fucking real. That's just an example, right? I didn't mean to get sidetracked, but you guys get the point. Basically, like practical effects are so fucking great, and you really see in this movie, it's super fucking real. Like sometimes I wonder, like, how the fuck did he even film this shit? The chest burster scene, super fucking iconic, scared generations and traumatized so many people, and rightfully so. It's deeply disturbing just because the fact that these people are just eating, like the whole group space is just eating at this point, like just talking. All of a sudden, like this guy just starts fucking spazzing out. Super fucking just insane. Just right off the bat, it is fucking disturbing. The way that the xenomorph just attacks people and just invades like somebody, it is super just invasive. There's that shot where you have that person just laying down and the fucking aliens are really just like over his face, just like he just kind of wrapped around his face and it can't pull it off of him. It is super fucking creepy, guys. Like just like a lot of the imagery in this movie and just like the shots, the way that it's filmed, it is super disturbing. And we can talk about the xenomorph as himself. One of the most iconic just horror like sci-fi characters of all time, obviously. And for his first appearance ever from 1979, I mean, he is super effective because you don't really see him a lot. He is like not barely shown, and definitely, like I said, in the past, and what you don't see is what scares you the most sometimes. And I feel like the xenomorph is a perfect example that he barely comes out in this movie. Like you barely actually see him, but when you see him, it is super fucking creepy. Like I said, this is all practical, guys. This is not CGI fucking weird alien. Like this is like a legit like. Somebody literally built this fucking thing and they even made it look so real. And I thought it was super just effective. I mean, just the way he looks off the bat, he looks already fucking creepy. Like if I just saw his shit in the middle of the night walking into the kitchen, dude, like I would literally shit myself. He is fucking terrifying. And just the fact that he's like just invading this huge spaceship and they're in the middle of space, that is such a great idea for a movie right off the bat, and it is super fucking effective. As you start seeing like the group go off one by one, you know, you definitely feel a sense where like it just gets disturbing. You kind of feel like, man, like you feel that sense of like hopelessness, you know, like what the fuck is gonna happen, you know. And I can't believe I haven't talked about her, you know. Ripley in this movie, guys, one of the best women in horror sci-fi of all time, one of the greatest characters ever. She is a fucking badass in this movie, you know, and you really feel that, you know, her lines are so fucking, her acting's brilliant, you know, she's really just believable in this movie, and you're just rooting for her in this whole time. You're really rooting for her to fucking escape and really just get out of this fucking horrible situation, you know. It is super fucking just like, it is just such a great film. They didn't have Ian Holm as Ash, who ends up being like a fucking, secretly like a fucking robot also. That was such another twist as well, you know. There's just so many things about this movie that is so insane. It is so fucking creepy. And there's one of that jump scare with Xenomorph where the dude's like in the fucking tunnel and he just fucking pops out and flashes like super quick. Super fucking effective. I mean, I'm somebody who for the most part, like, I like psychological horror a lot. Like, jump scares definitely scary, but they have to be done well. And I feel like this one was super effective, you know. It's creepy because you just see the flashing of him and you just like, it's so quick, and like, it's like next thing you know, it's like that's on to the next scene, you know. It is super fucking intense. I think the climax, like the fight scene with Ripley and Xenomorph, definitely super just creepy as well, you know. You definitely feel like she's just fighting for her life, and when she's finally able to escape, you know, it feels so satisfying as the audience member. Like, you're just watching her like struggle this whole movie, you know. From the very beginning to this point, you know, you just feel all the weight from this movie. Basically her whole fucking crew is basically dead, and just to see her just like escape, you know, just to see this Xenomorph fucking fly out of space, you know, it was super satisfying, you know. This is such a great movie, you know. If it wasn't for that amazing original trailer, I might have never seen this one, but this is definitely an all-time fucking classic for sure, you know. Ridley Scott's Alien, guys, from 1979. I'm going to be giving it an 87%. This is a fucking classic. This is a movie that is iconic for a reason. I haven't seen any of the other Alien sequels or anything yet, but I hope to soon at some point, just because this movie was so great, and this is a movie that I want to rewatch too, just because of how memorable it was. Like I said, you know, this is one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time. When we talk about like greatest sci-fi movies of all time, it's definitely like 2001: Space Odyssey and Star Wars, and it's like this movie, right? Like, these are like the holy trinity, in my opinion, for me. But other than that, guys, you know, thank y'all for watching. Like I said, you know, Alien is a fucking cult classic, and one of my favorite horror movies of all time for sure. It's definitely like just a movie that is well directed and so fucking original and creative, you know. Definitely one of the greatest films, one of the most influential movies of all time for sure. But other than that, guys, you know, thank y'all for watching. If you like movie reviews, you like content like that, you know, I just talk about movies. I'm not somebody that's a super like technical, you know, reviewer. I'm not somebody that's like gonna just break shit down every single fucking DBAS meeting, but I just talk about movies that I love, movies that I've seen before, and just giving my thoughts about them. But other than that, y'all, thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.